Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. Jack Leeson with StartupTrading.com. It's 9:10 in New York. Tax day, April 4th, 15th. Favorite day. And I'm going to be going over Nasdaq, S&P 500, gold, and oil here today. Um, my general bias is bullish here in the Nasdaq. And for those of you guys who loaded my screen here this morning, I did take a long out of this low. So when I have a bullish thesis, ideally, I want to be getting long below the midpoint. Okay, and even better if I can get long below the lower mid. The lower mid here today is right around 18,900, and that is basically right where I got long. So we pushed down yesterday into the morning trade plan anticipated support level, which was the lows of Friday drawn to the high. We made a slight new high off the open, and then we caught a beautiful short on the way down, and then basically I nailed the 5-minute low too, and then ran it up. So two really clean trades yesterday, um, right as we had anticipated. Yesterday my bias was bullish, but just because your bias is bullish does not necessarily mean that the market's where you want to be buying, and that's what can be tough because you really want to trade from the long side, but we're not quite yet at supports. So on the prior day, just back out here. They're filming the Chicago fire outside my window right now. If any of you guys watch that show, so we had this fair value gap, inverse fair value gap, ATR bars down right off the open, and I had drawn this 50% retracement short. It was a little sloppy. I wasn't participating, but when we basically came up, we swept through that high, but then failed to continue, and then immediately reversed at 10:55. I got short on this bar and ran it down to our profit targets. Now we ended up getting all the way below that lower mid, which is the orange line, and that is where I wanted to get long. And you can see, we did some consolidation in that during the lunch time frame, and then coming out of lunch, rallied basically back up near the top of the range. And then I think Netflix earnings at close, yada yada. But once again, here today, my bias is bullish. The ideal trade location in a bullish bias market for me is going to be below that lower mid here, that green line now. So this morning, we pushed through these lows, and at 825, inverse fair value gap, fair value gap. That's what got me long. The push through lows in the buy zone, and then that inverse fair value gap through here. So I just kind of went long above this with the stop, my standard stop. I haven't hit my targets yet. My targets, I'm just looking for us to actually go back to and take out that overnight high. And then I'm anticipating us to kind of rally all the way back up to the top of yesterday's range. And I might be one and done if I get those targets. So that's what I have here for the NQ. Higher time frame targets are going to be up at 19,487s. And we're going to, that'll take out last week's highs. Moving on to the S&P 500, same thing, guys. We got our stacked longs here. We had a halfway back on Thursday, halfway back on Friday. We were looking for this next measured move, but if you remember, the ES was stronger than the Nasdaq, so we're not going to get it. It looks like, unless we break down through lows. What actually might happen in the ES here today is us to re-engage as soon as we make a new high. Watch for this extension to get re-engaged, which is going to be the anchor is going to be Thursday's high to high. So if we get a new high through yesterday's high at any point in time, you can begin looking for pullbacks from that anchor. But at this point in time, I don't really have like a very clear series here in the ES. So there's that 50% or that 38% retracement. Overnight lows had held here, and we're just kind of pushing up towards those highs. So yeah, that's what I have here for the ES. I'd be looking, and it really only interested in longs below that lower mid here. So longs below the 54.27s and watch it crawl. So we'll move on to GC and CL. Kind of everything is at this point for me in an uptrend. Gold, I'm really interested in this setup here at 3206 if we can get down there. 3206 to or 3219 are really my two major support levels. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be looking for and just setting an alert from. And then oil, I actually also got long this morning. And oil to me is in a bullish sequence too. We're holding halfway back longs. We came back to a retest of basically the long from lows. I had mentioned my support level yesterday in CL was 60.71. We traded it, beautiful reaction, traded back up to the highs. So we kind of came back to that base here, and I looked for that same pattern in the ES where you're breaking above that fair value gap. You got that halfway back long, but I am interested in longs really, like, once again, below that bottom fourth of the range, so below 61.26. So I'll share these levels with you guys in the room. We'll see if we can continue the pattern here in the overnight session, and I'll catch you guys in